Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're looking at the Great Treasure Trap. We're going to uncover a massive secret about treasure, wealth, and who actually owns all of your stuff. Have you ever wondered what you're really supposed to do with your allowance, your favorite toys, or even your special talents? It's so natural to want to hold on to the things we love, right? When you save up your money for something special, or you get an awesome birthday gift, your very first instinct is probably to protect it, keep it safe, and maybe even keep it all to yourself. But today, we're looking at an incredible text that completely changes how we think about the things we own. We're going to see why holding on to things too tightly, even if it feels like the right thing to do, might actually be a massive trap.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a totally random question. What happens if you hide a delicious sandwich under your bed? Seriously, think about it. You take something amazing, you hoard it away so nobody else can have it, and what happens? Well, it doesn't stay awesome for long, does it? It usually just gets super gross and ruined, the bread goes stale, it gets totally moldy, and yeah, it'll probably attract some creepy crawly bugs into your bedroom. Yuck. Eventually, it becomes completely useless. Keep that soggy, gross sandwich in your mind, because believe it or not, that is exactly what happens when we do the exact same thing with our money, our time, and our talents.
Now, this whole sandwich idea, it perfectly matches a famous piece of ancient wisdom from our source text. It points us to Matthew chapter 6, verse 19, which strongly warns us against doing this exact thing with our wealth. It says, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal." So it's warning us that hoarding earthly treasures just leads to them getting ruined by bugs, rust, or stolen by thieves. I mean, think about your own world. If you hoard clothes forever, moths might literally eat little holes in your favorite jacket. If you leave an awesome bike outside without sharing or using it, rust will turn it orange and squeaky. The text explains that these earthly treasures can totally take over our minds, and we start worrying so much about our stuff that we forget about God. When we selfishly hoard things on earth, we are basically shoving that sandwich under the bed.
So the text gives us a very clear warning, laying out two totally different paths we can take. On one hand, we've got earthly treasures. Holding on to property and things selfishly upon the earth actually proves to be a curse. It just brings hoarding, rust, moths, and a whole lot of worrying. But on the flip side, we have heavenly treasures. If you devote what you have to help others, upbuild truth, and honor God, wow, it turns into a massive blessing. It's a clear choice between a curse and a blessing. Sharing brings joy and actually helps save souls. How? Well, when you share what you have, people feel loved and cared for. They might ask why you're being so kind, and boom, that gives you the perfect chance to tell them about God. The text tells us that means and money are necessary to do good things in the world, so we should put our talents to work instead of hiding them.
Which brings up a really huge question. Who actually owns your stuff? It kind of forces us to stop and really think about where our allowance, our toys, our clothes, and even our natural talents actually come from. You might be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I saved up my allowance from doing all my chores, or I practiced really hard to be good at soccer. And you know what? That is totally true. You did work hard. But the text challenges us to look a little bit deeper at the true source of all that wealth and ability. Before you did the chores, or before you ran out onto the soccer field, where did all of that actually begin?
Let's break it down into 3 steps. Step 1, God gives sunshine and rain. The text reminds us that He created the literal building blocks for wealth, making plants grow and keeping the earth spinning. Step 2, God gives you a smart brain and a strong body. Think about it. Where did the energy to run fast on that soccer field actually come from? Or the focus to sit down and figure out your math homework? He blessed us with the mental and physical ability to learn, do chores, and succeed in the first place. Which leads us to step 3. You use them to do great things. You are just using those incredible, God-given gifts and putting them into action. So here is the absolute crucial point. 100%, yes, 100% of the things we have are actually gifts from God. He qualified us to be able to get these things so that His cause might be sustained by His children. Every single dollar, every cool skill you learn, every piece of property is essentially handed to us by God to be used wisely. Just pause and think about how mind-blowing that is for a second. It completely changes everything when you realize you aren't just an owner, you're literally holding on to something that ultimately belongs to the creator of the universe.
And all of this builds into an amazing concept from our text, teaming up with God. We're invited to be in a co-partnership with Him. Just imagine getting to team up with the most powerful being in the entire universe. It would be like getting to play on the same sports team as the greatest athlete who ever lived, except, a billion times cooler.
The text tells us that all branches of business, even your daily chores, your homework, and how you treat your siblings, are under the eye of God. Everyone is given the ability to do something for the Master's cause. We get to team up with him every single day.
To understand how this incredible team works, we need to learn a very important word: steward. A steward is a person who is trusted to manage and take care of someone else's stuff. The text explicitly says it is no sin to acquire and control property as long as you act as a steward for God. Think of it like borrowing your absolute best friend's favorite video game. You get to play it, you get to have fun with it, but you know you've got to take extra good care of it because it's not yours. You are holding it only until the true owner needs it for his work.
Along with being a steward, the text calls us a co-partner. Being a co-partner means working together as a team on a giant, highly important project. Think about the biggest group project you've ever had at school. Well, in this specific group project, God is the team leader. The text emphasizes that we must ever bear in mind that we are in co-partnership with God, and His work demands our very first consideration. Before we think about buying that next video game or keeping all our free time to ourselves, we have to consider what our team leader needs. He's counting on us to do our part in the most important group project ever created.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Let's dive into sharing your awesome gifts. You can actually be an awesome steward right now, today, no matter how old you are. You don't have to be a grown-up with a giant bank account or a huge house to be a good steward. You have awesome gifts right now, this very second. You have your time, your energy, your kindness, and maybe even a little bit of saved-up allowance. All of these are tools that the Creator of the universe has placed right in your hands to use for His team.
Our text reminds us that the needy are all around us, and God is glorified when the poor and the afflicted are aided and comforted. Here are just a few ideas. You could comfort a friend who is sitting alone and feeling sad. You could share a portion of your allowance with someone who really needs it. You could help a neighbor with a tough chore, or just use your special talents to make someone smile. By using that strong body God gave you to, say, rake a neighbor's leaves, you are actually showing them God's love through your own two arms. You're investing your physical abilities and your wealth right in your own neighborhood to support God's cause.
So it all comes down to two choices. On one side, we have the selfish trap, locking God's gifts away in a warehouse, hoarding them until they rust, get ruined, or turn into a giant pile of gross, soggy sandwiches under the bed. No thanks. On the other side, we have the wise steward, keeping God's gifts moving like a flowing river to help the world and comfort those who are hurting. The text is totally clear. Whether you are working in a field, in a warehouse, or just doing chores at home and learning at school, you are accountable to God. He is watching to see if you will honestly and wisely employ your talents to help others instead of locking them away in the dark.
To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with this big, provocative question. Think about everything we've talked about and ask yourself, what gift has God given you that you can share today? Seriously, don't let your amazing talents, your time, and your treasures turn into a soggy sandwich hidden away where no one can be blessed by it. Remember, you are a co-partner with the Creator of the universe. So what is one talent, $1, or one kind act that you can manage for God's team before the day is over? Think about it, and go be an amazing steward.